If you calculate price per calorie of broccoli versus price per calorie of a chicken nugget, you are getting far more calories for much less money in a fast food meal than you would cooking at home.
That is the stupidest metric I have ever heard. We all know that fast food is calorie laden junk food. You get a lot of calories that are not quality calories for a little price. We know that. That is the problem. Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia, and today we'll be talking about food parenting, and specifically if feeding your children fast food on the regular is irresponsible. Now, some people will say that that's classist, and although I believe that some people do live in situations where it is difficult to eat healthy, I also believe that far more people simply do not want to try to eat healthy or make it a priority. As parents, we have a responsibility to parent our children, and food parenting is part of it. But before we get into the TikTok, I think we need to learn a little bit more about food parenting. So why don't we watch this next clip, then come back and discuss. What is parenting? Parenting is the process of raising a child from birth to independent adulthood. It encompasses meeting their basic needs, protecting them from harm, preparing them for the future, loving and nurturing them, and leading by example. Parenting covers a wide range of responsibilities, including feeding and clothing, supplying education, teaching financial literacy, building social skills and character, encouraging skill development, and many, many more. Food parenting is both ensuring that your children are adequately fed as well as teaching them about food and nutrition. Parents have a variety of ways of treating food. Some use control via restriction. Some use food as rewards or comfort. Some take a more educational approach. And some are permissive with food and don't impose any rules or guidelines. No matter what your food parenting style is, one of the most important things you do is model. Because, like it or not, what and how you eat has an impact on what and how your children eat. Feeding your children is meeting a basic need, but food education helps prepare them for the future by educating your children on the importance of good nutrition, showing them how to achieve healthy, satisfying meals, and modeling the desired behavior yourself. You instill good food habits that can carry through to adulthood. But doesn't this education lead to eating disorders? Studies have shown that children raised in healthy food environments are more likely to have healthy food habits as adults. Likewise, obese children that were never taught how to eat right struggle more with their weight as adults and are more likely to try fad diets. There is a risk that introducing food education to children could result in an ED. But if they are regularly eating junk food, they already have disordered eating and possibly addiction to processed carbs. To help children learn about nutrition without getting consumed with body image, frame the message around good food to feel good and have energy rather than to be skinny. But I don't have time to cook. Fast food is quicker. There are several quick and healthy meals you can make that take less time than traveling to and from a fast food restaurant, or waiting for your Uber Eats or DoorDash. But I don't have the energy to cook after work. There are lots of quick things you can assemble or buy partially made that you can put together without even flicking on your stove. But I can't afford to eat healthy. Healthy food is cheaper than fast food. You can cook multiple meals for the price of one fast food meal. Plus the savings in travel, going to and from the fast food restaurant every day, or the savings in delivery fees. Well, I'm still going to fast food restaurants. It's just more convenient. That's a personal choice. But do know that almost all fast food restaurants have healthier food options. And if you absolutely need to eat fast food, you can make an effort to make your meal more healthy. Swap the fries for a side salad or apple slices, or get one fry and share it with the table. avoid sugar pop, and get sauces and condiments on the side to control how much you add. So, is it irresponsible to feed your kids fast food if you don't have the time and money to do any different? The truth is, you do have the time and money to do something different. You just don't make it a priority. A peanut butter sandwich on whole wheat bread with an apple is a hell of a lot more nutritious than a Happy Meal, and takes less than a minute to make. Some people are in situations where eating healthy is difficult, and you can decide for yourself if it's worth making other sacrifices in order to eat better. It's your choice. But when you have children, you signed up to parent them in all aspects of their lives. And if you believe that parents are responsible for providing food education to their children, then feeding them fast food and not teaching them about nutrition is irresponsible. So now that we know a little bit more about food parenting, let's get into the TikTok and see what William has to say about parents that feed their children fast food.
Feeding your children fast food is basically child abuse. That is a remarkably classist take. Oh, come on, I'm just being honest. How can you justify feeding them that poison? Do you know what the alternative is for most people who regularly eat fast food? To not be lazy and to cook at home. No, it is to not feed their kids or not feed their kids enough. Healthy food is expensive. Oh, come on, I've been to a grocery store. Fruits and vegetables aren't that expensive. When you compare their caloric values to fast food, yeah, they are. Explain. If you calculate price per calorie of broccoli versus price per calorie of a chicken nugget, you are getting far more calories for much less money in a fast food meal than you would cooking at home. So let me get this straight. In the name of people who are struggling financially, you're defending capitalistic organizations that regularly participate in wage theft and unethical food practices. No, those corporations are evil and I'm not defending them, but I am defending the people who are consumers of their food because they need it to survive. Stop demoralizing people who are just trying to keep their families alive.
Let's start with the first one. William says that the alternate to feeding your children fast food is either not feeding them at all or not feeding them enough. And that's not completely true. I mean, I know that there are places where it is difficult to feed your children nutritious food, but those people who are impacted are not the ones that are complaining. The people that are impacted are not watching TikToks and blasting others in their comment sections. The people that are impacted are being used as shields by fat activists to justify their own bad choices. For most of these people, they could change, but choose not to. They just don't want to be judged. But is escaping judgment fair when there are children involved? Because when you have children, it is your responsibility to parent them in all ways. If your child is struggling at school, it is your responsibility to do something. Talk to the teacher, get a tutor, find a way to help them. If your child isn't getting enough sleep, it is your responsibility to make sure that they go to bed earlier. If your child is sick, it is your responsibility to care for them. Now, all of these things are inconvenient, but guess what? Being a parent is inconvenient. And as inconvenient as all of these things are, they do not give us license to be irresponsible. If you are in a financially deprived situation, it is even more important that you teach your children how to eat well on a low budget, because this not only helps them now, but sets them up with skills for the future. The next point that William made was that healthy food is expensive, and I am so sick of this narrative. Now, I started to write my own rebut, but I found this TikTok and it was too good not to share. So let's take a watch.
So I just want to clear some comments like this up because I keep seeing them and I feel like a lot of people don't understand that this is part of the reason that childhood obesity is such a problem. Misinformation. It is somewhat about financial access because the rates are 18% among the lower class, 19% in the middle class, and 10% in the upper class. But the biggest problems are misinformation like this, that healthy food is more expensive, or lack of time because you're working so much. That's why I think the middle class has the highest rates. If this was a strictly economic issue, we wouldn't be seeing it across all classes, but we are, and it also affects different races at different classes at different rates. I think a lot of this is seen that healthy food needs to be like organic or something, but simply swapping out your child's $5 Happy Meal with $5 worth of rice and chicken will literally do a world of difference. Also, eating out in the long run will lead to medical conditions that will cost your child thousands later in life.
And I agree with all of that. There's a lot of misinformation that's going around about healthy food being expensive, but when you actually add it up, it is not. She said in the TikTok that sometimes people think that you need to eat organic in order to be healthy, which I agree with. You don't need to eat organic to be healthy, but I will also add on, you don't need to eat fresh to be healthy either. If fresh produce is really expensive, canned and frozen is fine. Sure, fresh is ideal, but you're still getting the nutrients in frozen and canned vegetables too. No, it's not easy, but parenting isn't easy. You can make better and different choices. You can make food at home for cheap, and you can also alter what you order when you go out to eat. Your conveniences should not come at the expense of your children's well-being. Then William went on to compare healthy food versus fast food at a cost per calorie. And I have to say, that is the stupidest metric I have ever heard. We all know that fast food is calorie-laden junk food. You get a lot of calories that are not quality calories for a little price. We know that. That is the problem. Why are you stating the problem as a good thing? High calories are not a good thing. High nutrition is. And why are we comparing broccoli to a chicken nugget? Who is eating a whole meal of broccoli? Can we at least compare chicken to chicken? Because we can compare pre-cooked chicken from the grocery store to a chicken nugget and see that based on nutrition, it doesn't even come close. If we were to add up the ingredients to make a simple healthy meal at home for 4, it would be far cheaper than ordering 4 separate value meals from McDonald's. And if we're completely honest, obese families don't just order one value meal apiece. They usually have desserts or extra nuggets to share with the table. It's rarely just a value meal. Lastly, William went on to say that the consumers of fast food are not evil, but the corporations are. And the hypocrisy here is rich, because he doesn't fault people that actually put their money into the fast food industry by buying their services. Yet people that lose weight are always attacked for supporting diet culture, even when we don't buy any of the products and services. I can lose weight on my own completely, without Weight Watchers, without Atkins, without special shakes, without a diet program at all. But if I lose weight, I'm supporting diet culture. Yet people that actually put their money into fast food by buying their services are victims and can't be held accountable. They also criticize people for losing weight in order to make their lives more convenient. Yet convenience seems to be a fair excuse for increasing your carbon footprint, supporting the billion-dollar fast food industry, and disregarding your health. Awareness of the perils of eating too much fast food is a good thing. We should want the public to make informed choices. Sticking your head in the sand and pretending like there's nothing wrong with eating copious amounts of fast food doesn't help you. We shouldn't be afraid of the truth. The truth will help us make better decisions. There's a lot of criticism about the systems and how the systems affect obesity. But I would gamble that if all the systems were fixed tomorrow, we would still have just as many people eating fast food, because they've built these habits. It's a combination of fixing systemic issues and changing people's personal habits that will result in real change. Everyone needs to do their part. And if eating healthy food is a priority, you will find a way to do it. So rather than waiting for systems to change, we can do what we can to make sure that we ourselves are living our best possible lives. The uncomfortable truth is that if you feed your children fast food on the regular, you could be doing better, but are choosing not to. It's all about your own personal priorities. If education is a high priority for you and your child is struggling at school, you do whatever it takes to make sure that they don't struggle. You get them a tutor if you can afford it, and if you can't, you talk to the teacher, you get a sibling to help, you sit and do homework with them, you look into online resources or free study groups, you find a way to help them. Food and nutrition is no different. If you make it a priority, you find ways to make sure that your children are nourished properly and get the education around food that they need in order to become successful adults. One of my parenting goals is to make sure that when my kids leave the house, they know how to cook for themselves, cook healthy meals for themselves, and are aware of basic nutrition. Far too often, we think of only the short term and not the long term. But it's a good idea to remind yourself that people like Marissa Matthews, Tess Holliday, and Tammy Slayton, they were all children once, and their upbringing has turned them into the adults that we see today. Unbeknownst to you, you might be raising the next fat fab feminist. We can make excuses for why we don't feed our children adequately or healthily enough. But if we are truly honest with ourselves, we probably know deep down that we could be doing better. But we just don't want to be judged for the things that we are doing. But rather than attacking those that are judging us, wouldn't we be better off by taking a minute or so to judge ourselves? Because I think that most of us, if we are truly honest, will see the areas in which we could improve. We just have to want to do it and make the effort to do it. There are so many TikToks out there that show how to make cheap, healthy meals. There are as many of those as there are fat activist TikToks. So watch those ones instead. If you believe that it is important to feed your children healthy food, to show them what proper portions are, to teach them about nutrition, and to guide them as they learn how to exist as adults, including food and cooking for themselves, then find a way. But if you don't think that any of those things are important, then you shouldn't have any problem with other people saying that it's irresponsible to feed your children fast food. Because if you don't think it's your responsibility, well then it can't be irresponsible. You just need to be honest with yourself. So until next time, stay body positive, but also body honest.